the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. This is Brian, TGIF. I suppose the final day in our first 2 weeks of the quarter study, so maybe we can discern some information out of that. Looks like we got a pretty light following here this morning on YouTube, but nonetheless, anyway, welcome back to the frivolity. Stuart's still working away on trying to figure out why the S&P 500 in the U.S. stock market is giving us major headaches here with regard to our breadth indicator. So we're still trying to figure that out. My apologies there. I won't really talk too much on these free videos, but maybe in the after party, we'll circle around and take a look at what the crypto breadth looks like right now. As Julian alluded to, we had a pretty big reversal across the board yesterday in crypto. So if anything, I think the tweets that I was putting out were things like, welcome to the mom's basement altcoin cryptocurrency summer party. I can't remember what the line was that I used specifically. So, I don't even know where the heck it is. Anyway, it's just a little one-liner. But I did see that seemed to resonate fairly well with the party. Here we are. Welcome to Mom's Basement Summer Altcoin Silly Season. It sure feels like it got off with a bang yesterday, eh? There's one gentleman, he's probably going to become absolutely stinking rich through this next cycle. And I've suggested all of you that if you really do want to make some money from trading and, you know, life-changing events and all that kind of fun talk, that you probably should get your skirt together, as they say, and start accumulating crypto. And it looks like we're off to the races. Can't remember where I had it. I even made reference to yeah, it was this SOL. I don't know whether I really like this SOL idea. I mean, technically speaking, it's doing everything that should be in, you know, dead cat bounces into first stop targets and fogging bombs and all that should produce doubles, which should give you the opportunity to sell half on a double and get yourself a risk-free trade. And so you're playing from a position of strength and blah, 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 blah. Everything that Beamish talks about. I'm just not really a big fan of this Dan Freeberg guy. If I understand correctly, I think he's just an outright crook. And he really screwed over a lot of people in this world. And the SBF and all that, this is where they sort of got their I guess their credibility last cycle, and then they started building out the FTX and all that nonsense. Anyway, this guy, that's not really the point I'm trying to make, but this guy here he's such a smarty pants. It's so cool. He's super enthusiastic. I don't know whether I necessarily believe with his cripple analysis it's going to $1 million, but anyway, this guy's the crook, right? If you ever see that guy's face, FTX exposed, right? That guy's the absolute criminal in this space. But this guy's fun. I like listening to him. I think he's got a good spirit. He's gonna be very, very wealthy at the end of all this crypto mason. Anyway, so he's been super active following the whole XRP story and stuff. Like I said, I don't know whether I buy into the cripple going to the moon kind of conversation, but if anything, it's just, you know, it's just actually pretty typical. Is there an opportunity to get yourself a risk-free trade in the cripple? I think I put mind you, I'm not very good at this stuff, but you know, I mean, there's so many of these cryptocurrencies that look like this. They're just so perfectly set up. Look at this H bar. And I remember this H bar, everybody was all just uber insanely bullish of this thing. And look how it's setting itself up here. So, you know, call it mom's summer silly season in altcoin land. Call it the XRP judgment. In fact, actually, Marat was even talking a little bit about that before we got the video going. Call it, now we're into Q2 or I guess, well, I mean, Q2 earnings reporting. And of course, these banks, these money center banks, this was the whole plan all along here, right? Was that the federal big money center banks, and you could argue this goes all the way back to JP Morgan himself back at the turn of the century, last century. They want to put all these regional banks out of business, right? And think of Bailey and savings and loan, it's a wonderful life kind of analogy. And they have basically done that. I mean, there was something like 20,000 regional banks when I was first starting out. Now they've whittled it down to only about 4,000. And, this latest go round, they just bankrupted a whole bunch more of these regional banks. And of course, these big money center banks like JP Morgan, oh, this is a mercy killing. We're actually good people here. What a crock. So anyway, the regional banks were very profitable. It's just they got suckered into listening to that stupid grandma at the Treasury and the horrible investment advice. Isn't somebody gonna actually like take her to court and sue her? Because if you were a broker and you gave the advice that she gave the entire United States, everything, she stood in front of Congress and said, if this, buy US Treasuries at the very top of the market, which of course destroyed that first republic. Was it all pre-planned? I wonder. But anyway, Brian, this is my tinfoil hat brought to you by the good people of Munchen, Germany. And actually, I'm wearing my Munchen hat because we got a German on the call today in our after party, our level 2 instructor. Murat, you want to say hi to these good people, Murat? I don't know if you feel like it or not.
Hallo zusammen.
Hello to them. There you are. Very
hello, hello
very
together.
and of course, Murat loves his relative rotation study. So maybe we'll get a boo at that. Very powerful stuff. So always a pleasure and a privilege to have Murat on the call. And if you are able to attend the after party, you will learn something today. I pretty much guarantee it. Anyway, so point of the matter here is, like I said there a moment ago, we're charging our way through Q2 sort of first 2 week study. Probably actually now that it is Friday, we could probably get a pretty good idea of what the heck this is going to look like. And what does it sort of pretend for the coming quarter? So just very quickly, just throw this together. So where did the money flow this quarter? May, June, there's July. All right, so beginning of the quarter, actually interesting, still money going into communication services. That's interesting. Energy sector still outperforming. Materials, remember we had right at the beginning of this first 2 week study, we saw the industrials and the materials really launched themselves higher, but they seem to have calmed down quite a bit. And interesting to see healthcare and staples really getting their nose punched here. So I don't know whether we're getting a clear message out of the sector rotation modeling, but interesting how communication services come roaring back here. I did notice the stock market itself was generally moving higher here. Everything was just sort of like hum-ho, hunky-dory, typical. And then all of a sudden the Russell 2000 just started falling apart here about 2 or 3 hours ago. So that was a little bit of a surprise. You can also see too, the bond market is not happy whatsoever. And we've kind of talked a little bit about this. I do like Mr. Hendry's thinking that the bond market is probably an interesting place to have some money working. Just it kind of V bottomed off of its lows, and now it kind of looks like it's doing a bit of backfilling. So I don't know whether bonds, like given the fact that we're heading into this, this is an interesting time in the market, this sort of summer season. Now, I don't know how much of this they've actually built into price already. I mean, you might find that if you look at the daily price chart, gee whiz, we've come an awful long way here since that March reversal. Remember, we got those key reversal signals and all those big tech stocks. I mean, does that not look like maybe this is like the midpoint and this is the left AB and this is the CD over here. Sure feels like that. So I don't know whether we have a hell of a lot more to the upside to go here. Also, too, we probably see it a little bit better. Well, a couple conversations. We'll come back to the options in a moment. Whoops. Now what have I done? Oh, goodness. Crazy paper trading accounts. One bad thing about paper trading accounts is they're really easy to sort of neglect, and they end up. Okay, where are we here? All right. Okay. Well, I guess that's the best one we'll use here for now. What I wanted to do was just have just a completely blank screen. Remove drawings. Boom. All right, there we go. Okay, so just the point being, you can see, I mean, gee whiz, we've come an awful long way very quickly, riddled with holes all over this price chart. So if anything, if you want to try and learn something from this experience with the Beamish, of course, there's that damn key reversal signal way back when. Just a monstrous buy signal. I mean, write that down. Take a screenshot of that. Maybe like make like a bookmark or put it on your wall right in front of your desk. What do buy signals? Just one single candle. What do they look like? Usually they look like these big honking reversal bars. Anyway, lots of gaps. So at some point down the road, I mean, Jesus, this is just Swiss cheese. There's gaps everywhere. In fact, that gap actually looks like it was filled in, so that's all right. Oh, there's a big old hole down here as well. Look at that, all wide open. So, at some point we're going to roll over here, and I don't really like the look of this. If anything, I've been sort of suggesting to people of late that what I actually think is this reminds me a lot of the early 1970s, which is kind of an odd comparison. Let's see if this thing's going to load. Do, 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 do. What the heck is this? What have I done here? All right. Are you gonna load here? Yeah, there we go. I think this is the one I like to use. So there's your weekly price chart. Interesting how we still have this gap on the charts on the Dow right up top here. So if anything, probably through the summer, I actually like the idea of the market working its way up into that level, but we're not breaking out to new highs yet. If anything, this also too does look like a bit of a bull flag. So it would be interesting, just maybe we do break out to new highs here. I think that happens more into the end of the year though. Something like that. Boom to boom to boom to boom way up top there. So I could see heading into the election year, some sort of peak up top here. But I guess what I wanted to show you guys was this to me seems very reminiscent of the 1970s. How long does it take to go back? So kind of like this kind of action. In fact, actually, this looks very similar to this. Anyway, you have one more push up top, bit of consolidation, then a push up top, and then, oh boy, big face plant to the downside. So I don't know whether we're in this kind of environment or not, but judging by the fact that the Fed hasn't completed interest rate cycle, and like we even today, when you look at the economic data that came out, where's the best place to show you that? Right here, I guess. Now we have U.S. consumer sentiment highest in 2 years. I find it very hard to believe that the Fed's going to be able to either stop raising interest rates or actually even lower rates in the face of that. They're going to have to continue to just keep the pressure on until the actual consumer breaks. I personally don't think it's going to be in the United States of America, which actually means to me what I think ends up happening here is it's somewhere else in the world, and there's lots of conjecture. Europe, of course, is in a bit of a malaise. The biggest economic engine out of Europe, Germany, is having to retool basically its entire industrial base based on the what's happened there with Russia. And actually be interesting to get a take on sort of what life on the ground is like in Germany from Marat later on. And then, of course, too, the Fakazi that is China continues to play itself out. Saw another report about the completely unrealistic expectations of everybody driving electric vehicles. Literally, the entire world's industrial output of things like copper, aluminum, and then, of course, all the rare earths that just so happen to be all located in China. It would actually to achieve the desired goals of these electric vehicles, it would be something that human history has never seen before. The amount of increase in industrial output, which is just unrealistic. I do like the idea of hydrogen being sort of injected into the equation. Of course, I've been pretty bullish at Toyota Motor Company. They come out with a hydrogen powered combustion engine. So we'll see how that works. And of course, if you watched Tuesday's Daily Brief After Party with Stuart, he is constantly going on about how we could very easily see hydrogen become a very realistic alternative. Anyway, we'll see how all that goes. But I don't buy the whole Chinese thing. Of course, they are historically horrible at telling the truth. And of course, they are still a totalitarian dictatorship. Found it fascinating yesterday. It's kind of a side comment, not really anything relevant to the market. But, China actually has the audacity to say that they are going to include artificial intelligence in their, in their, I don't know, I don't even know how the hell they are going to include it. But, the irony of it all is that if you ask artificial intelligence, what do you think about totalitarian dictatorships? Of course, the knee-jerk reaction out of these artificial intelligence is, well, I don't have an opinion, so I can't really give you an opinion. But, I mean, I think this statement summarizes perfectly. And this message is for you, Winnie the Pooh, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, but some minion probably is. The overwhelming majority of political scientists, human rights organizations, and democratic nations do not endorse or support totalitarian dictatorships. So go fuck yourself, Winnie. Jesus Christ. I mean, at some point, this house of cards has to collapse. When the hell is it going to collapse? Fuck. Let's get this goddamn thing over with. If anything, it's great to see what's going on in Russia because maybe finally the Russian people are going to finally be set free and they won't have to live under the yoke of totalitarian dictatorships, but who knows? Fingers crossed for them. Anyway, so is it China that explodes? Is it Europe that explodes? Is it South America? From what I understand, life down in South America is pretty challenging these days. The amount of which is fascinating because it's such an interesting commentary on they had like literally a mass border rush where all of the people sitting on the Mexican side of the border, they all rushed the US border all in unison. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago in like Brownsville, Texas or something like that. And it's just absolute chaos to try and get into the United States of America. Well, if the United States of America is so bad and it's so corrupt and the system is so bad, why are all these people that lived in like socialist utopias like Venezuela wanting to leave? I mean, if life in totalitarian dictatorships is so great, why don't they stay in Venezuela? Oh, because it isn't. I mean, the whole point of us living in the West is we're free. We have free speech. We have freedom of commerce. We have freedom to do with whatever our lives we want. And people in the West seem to take that for granted. Anyway, I would be willing to bet that if you asked any average Chinese citizen, would you like to go to the United States of America? Or would you like to stay here in China? Well, I think the answer is pretty straightforward. Anyway, I thought it was really funny that actually it's funny that we click on that. But I thought it was really funny the other day that China actually tried to pull over some con job and say that, well, the artificial intelligence that we're going to do is going to be it's going to endorse totalitarian winnies. Whatever. Oh well. Anyway, that's a whole total side issue. My apologies. Brian's full of rants today. Um. Okay, so back to what we're supposed to be talking about. What the hell's going on in the world? Like I said, sentiment in the United States, and I still think that the U.S. economy is much, much stronger than everybody here thinks and believes. I think the U.S. economy is going to do perfectly fine. And ironically enough, the banks have used this past 20 years as a consolidation of power, and they ain't going nowhere. They've got this thing tapped pretty well. And in fact, JP Morgan today proved that they are very profitable. They are enjoying the consolidation of power. And of course, shareholders are being rewarded commensurately. Did find it interesting. Of course, we spit out at TRI. We have a number of screeners here that are sort of advanced membership platform. I like to keep a close eye, of course, on very specific chart patterns, key reversals. Actually, I even pulled up a comparison of some key reversal signals. And it's interesting how out of the United States, we had a whole bunch of key reversal signals there come out through mid-March. We haven't really had too many since. But here are some of the recent key reversal signals. Extra space storage, not quite sure who those guys are, but look at that move. Boom. Marriott International, so the hotels and hotel business. Boom. This is an interesting one. It's a small stock, but nonetheless, key reversals are key reversals. Cytier Therapeutics, boom. And of course, here this was the most recent key reversal that we had. That was about the middle of May. You can see Best Buy just churning its way higher. So signals seem to be performing pretty well. What was interesting to me today was that I saw a lot of Canadian stocks spitting out key reversals. A couple of them, of course, everybody or anybody, I don't know, nobody likes the fact that real estate is trying to spit out key reversals here. It'd be interesting to see whether that one holds in. Restaurant brands, actually interesting. There is a little restaurant stock, conglomerate stock that I bought a while ago that is basically sitting where I bought it. So interesting message out of the market there. RB Global Inc. No idea who these guys are, but looks like continuation pattern there. Pretty good trade location as well. And then, of course, this is an interesting one because they were caught up in a political scandal, of course, never held to account. That's how corrupt Canada is. Correct. Canada is stunningly corrupt, folks. Don't kid yourself. Anyway, these guys, big industrial name for Canada, spitting out key reversals, and away he goes. So, actually getting signals from the stock market, and interesting enough in Canada as well, that it looks to me like the summer silly season in the stock market is well underway. We're through the sell in May and walk away. Usually the rule is that probably by the end of the July 4th holiday weekend, the first 2 weeks of the Q3, heading into actual earnings season. And I think I even mentioned this publicly recently that once we get out of the what's the Fed going to do? What's inflation numbers? What's the macro picture? What's that Biden guy going to do? Geez, can he remember his lines? All that kind of, top down kind of talk. And we actually get into do you trade the stock market? And that would be top down interest rates, political, blah, blah, taxes, and all that. And then we get into, once we're into earnings season, the bottom up, or do you trade a market of stocks? JP Morgan's profits rise 67%. As a result, stock market goes booming higher. So we're making that transition. And I would have to say, same things going on in crypto. It's remarkable. The more things change, the more they seem to stay exactly the same. Joe's made another new high here on the Bitcoin weekly chart. So ain't no slowdown here. If anything, this was a really good analogy of the Brian's birthday. Everybody's going to go into a malaise. We're all depressed and market's weak. Interesting enough, if anything, this is because the moving averages were all pointing up here. It's a pretty good example. Pullbacks are buying opportunities. And of course, in very typical fashion, thanks Mr. BlackRock, the market puts in a V bottom just as Brian's like, okay, I'm going to take a week off. Doesn't look like any W's are here. So what does the market do? It just goes straight up, right back up to the old highs. Thanks. Yeah. Strong opinions loosely held, all that kind of talk, right? Consolidated for a couple weeks. And, as I had said, my fun little guy here, I love watching this guy's YouTube shorts and stuff. And I think he's got a pretty good head on his shoulders. He's going to do very well. He reminds me a lot of uh, Chico Crypto 2 cycles ago when uh when Tyler was all young and full of piss and vinegar and all that. Now Tyler's, I think that's his name, Tyler, but I could be mistaken. Anyway, the Chico Crypto guy. You can kind of see that, having a million followers and he runs this huge organization and then going through the crypto bull and the crypto bear and back and forth. You can kind of see Chico Crypto guy, he's kind of lost his oomph, and I think this guy is going to be sort of your next guy that's leading the charge. But anyway, great to see, and of course he's talking. He's got. I think he's going to do very well, and also too, shout outs to old TRIers. I do notice a lot of sort of the message I've been trying to get out to the world. It's reverberating around the universe. Hey, Chris is telling me I gotta wind this up. So, if anything, I was quite pleased to see, people sort of reiterating, Paul here. He's got a very thriving community now, so I think he's doing well, and all of his members. A lot of them have taken the TRI education program, and I think on balance, when he's trying to teach his traders, just trying to teach the typical TRI message: don't chase, position of strength, buy bottom markets, buy, act like institutions, blah 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 blah. So anyway, and then also too, seeing lots of different people, even around, and I can't show you right here, but even around Twitter, people going, "Oh, you must be one of those the TRI followers." I think it was this thread. It was so cute to read this. So these guys are, one guy said, you need to have multiple reasons to justify. Don't take more than 5%. And then this guy's, cool. You must be a student of Brian, eh? So the message is getting out. I've done my job. I've served my purpose in this world. Spirit, you should be happy with me. We've done our job. So I hope you are all getting the message. And if anything, Bitcoin's still pointing up, and as long as the moving averages are, I don't see any reason why this won't keep pointing up. We also had a number of upside objectives that I can't see how they're not going to get hit. The only issue here, though, is it realistic for Bitcoin to moon here? I don't think so. Could we see Bitcoin work its way up into the mid to maybe mid 30s? Yeah. Keep in mind the last cycle, right? This cycle, the dead cat bounce through 2019 actually took us all the way up here. You can even see it, proof of the pudding's in the eating. Took us all the way up to Mountain Man in some horrific spike. Look at the size of that shooting star, right? That's what she said. So don't be shocked if you see some sort of price action like this. That sort of marks the end of this move. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of big pop here. But the big pop is going to be like, what, maybe 20%, which isn't bad. I mean, 20% is 20% is 20%. And I don't think it's going to $1,000,000. But what's really interesting, and this is exactly what the message I've been trying to get through to all you guys, right? And girls and houseplants and whatever hell you want to call yourself. Do you have your skirt together? I mean, we started that funny little thanks to Kat. Sure hope she's doing well. She started on the education program, and of course, being politically correct, the ladies are always more sort of verbally palatable than the Beamish. And I would say, do you have your merd together? And she suggested, well, why don't we use the word skirt? That way it's a nice sort of politically correct. So we started that message right here. And, both XLM and XRP are perfect examples of this. You can actually see this is where we bought this position. I'm more than happy to sell halves on doubles and stuff like this right now. I mean, basically, these are risk-free trades. And if anything, if we get a pullback here now into the fall, that will give you the opportunity to reload. But, you know, do yourself a favor, people. Take a screenshot of that. I mean, if you really want to have like a handheld experience to walk you through how to build an effective small business of trading, that's what our education program is all about. And I think the price that we charge is ridiculously cheap. It's like $100 a week or something over a 3 or 4 month period. I mean, it's just insane how cheap the program is. So you're all really, really lucky in that regard. But if you fancy yourself a self-educated, self-taught person, just watch all these free. I mean, we have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours of free content every Sunday. I do these videos for you, and it's the same message over and over and over. Now, this one, you can't chase it. You can't buy this now. But hopefully everybody watching this video can see, well, that Beamish guy, he sure likes his W's. And so the next time I see this happen, all right, maybe take a screenshot of this, throw it on your wall right beside your desk. I'm going to force myself, even though the sentiment in the public is absolutely horrific. And if you ask anybody about Stellar, I mean, Cripple's the same damn thing. They're exactly the same chart. That when we're at the bottom end of the range, when we've come all the way back down and basically taken back the whole previous rally, and the public is uber insanely bearish, and you can't give this stuff away, Google searches are nothing, well, that's when you have to force yourself to step in and start accumulating. And, now I've got free positions in both of these wonderfulnesses. And you can see, I actually think there's still quite a bit more room to move up here. Anyway, so, whether these just happen to be the two that happened to have popped this past week, but we can go name after name after name and just show you there's so many of these. In fact, that H bar that I was showing you on the Twitter feed. I mean, look at that. Anybody who's a student of mine would let go. Oh yeah, you're right, Brian. But anybody in the public, do you understand that the public would look at this and go, well, that thing looks like it's dead? And what you have to train yourself, if you can, I don't know whether you can or not, but you have to force yourself to buy down markets and understand that when the public is all stupid and they're acting like idiots, and they will, well, that's when you got to be selling, and you got to stop yourself from chasing and buying up top here. Can you do that? I don't know. But as I said, if you do need some help setting yourself up for success, I think we have an excellent education program that has proven itself over the years to teach you how to set yourself up to do this. So with that note, I think I'll leave my rant here for today. I will say that, being now into the summer silly season, we're probably going to see a lot more of this kind of pops, like the XRP and Ripple kind of rallies here. So get out there and have some fun. This is the silly season for crypto, but for God's sakes, don't chase. You can't buy that now. It's gone. I mean, draw your reload zones, be patient, discipline, wait for pullbacks, blah blah blah. In fact, actually, I was even barking about this loom the other day. I was even posting in the site. Gee whiz, this one looks like it's getting ready to go. And there she goes. Dun, 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 dun. So, have some fun in crypto this weekend. Looks like we're in a relatively uppy market. I guess the only thing I didn't really talk about today, but typical options expiry silliness. Maybe we'll leave it here for today, but you can see 450. If they can get this market to close right around this 450 area, then they hit an absolute home run. Look at all these puts that are going to expire worthless. And then look how many options that are on the line if they happen to expire this market just above 450. So what do you think the odds are that they're going to try and make this thing close out right around 450? Oh, look at that, 450.05. So it's just business as usual in this silly market. Same old, nothing changes, rinse and repeat. Wall Street wins. You have to teach yourself how to think like an institutional player. That means you got to buy down markets and sell up markets. All right, we'll see everybody for Sunday. And of course, let's head on over and listen to Marat. And I want to hear what the relative rotation studies have in store for us going forward. All right, have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. See everybody on Sunday. Hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend if you enjoyed this broadcast. Let's try and get the viewership of these free videos up so we can make that big positive difference in the world. All right, have yourselves a great day. All the best, and bye for now.